Hey gamers, Game with Melkor here, bringing you another Clash Royale deck spotlight. I know guys, I know it has been a while yet again, but unfortunately real life has been a little bit busy, and for that I do apologise, but I'm back, and don't worry, the regular content is here to stay again. So get ready for regular updates yet again. So guys, let's have a look at the deck that we're going to be using today. So this is the deck, guys. Some of you may remember the similar deck that we have used before, but this is by far and away my favourite deck in the early levels of Legendary Arena. So let's take you through the deck. We have the man himself, the Giant. We have the Prince. Look at that moustache, absolutely elegant. We have the Witch, deadly as ever. We have the Elixir Collector, just for that little bit of extra juice that we need. We have the mean grilling machine, the Sparky. Ooh, watch that bad boy burn. We have the Mega Minion, Zappity Zap, the Zap spell, and we have the Ice Wizard. So guys, let's have a look at how this deck has been performing. So as you can see guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 victories back to back. That was a different deck. So 5 victories, guys, back to back with this deck. Against some tough, challenging opponents in there as well. But this deck is so much fun. I love to see the opponent's face when you do sometimes drop down that Sparky there. So guys, let's have a look through a few replays. And before we go any further guys, do me a favour and smash that like button. Let's see if we can get 40 likes on this video. So let's hit it off with the Royal Giant deck. So guys, let's have a look at the starting hand, and unfortunately we do not have that Elixir Collector. As always though, remember to wish your opponent good luck and a jolly hearty thumbs up. So, as we wait to see what our opponent's going to do, we are going to drop down our Ice Wizard in the back to see how our opponent decides to play it. Now he drops his Valkyrie on the opposite side of the field, so at this point it's just a matter of just waiting. We're going to drop that Giant down in front of the Ice Wizard to see how our opponent is going to counter that, and he's going to drop down his minions on the opposite side of the field. When he does that, we drop down our Witch on this left side. So we now drop down our Mega Minion to help take out that Valkyrie and to then work on those minions. Luckily our Giant is able to get off a few hits on that tower, helping out with the Witch, and we do nearly take that tower down, and here we go, 1, 2, 3, and there goes that tower for a solid 1-0 lead. We're also level for devil on elixir at this point, so I'm going to drop down my Ice Wizard to slow down that Valkyrie and then that Musketeer. We're going to drop down the Prince for a bit of support here as well. So here comes the Fireball, taking out that Ice Wizard nearly and doing a bit of damage to our Prince and to our tower. The Prince is going to go all the way in and go straight for that tower, but those well-placed minions there do take it out. Luckily the Ice Wizard is going to take care of those minions, so when they get to this tower they're not going to really be able to get off too many shots, doing just enough damage to allow the tower to take 2 shots each at those. So now it's time to unleash the deadly part of our army, the Sparky. So the Sparky goes down, and just at that point our opponent's going to play his Royal Giant on the opposite side. I'm going to drop down my Giant to assist the Sparky on this side, but our opponent drops down his Musketeer to assist in taking out that tower. We drop down the Wizard to try and assist here that Sparky, which it's able to do. We do in the process, but are then able to take out this tower very quickly. So at this point we still have a good attack, and we are able to take out that Valkyrie. So those skeletons, that Giant, that Witch, that Ice Wizard and that Sparky are just absolutely decimating this tower for a very solid 3-1 victory there. As you can see, the good thing about this deck is that it just piles on the pressure, so once you've got an attack rolling, it is very hard to stop. Now, the Sparky can be countered with the right cards, and a lot of people are quite good at countering it. But this deck is so versatile, you don't necessarily need to utilise the Sparky. So let's have a look at this 3-0 victory against an opponent running the Hog deck. Now he does have some lower level cards in there as well, but he does have a few level 10s, and he does have that level 8 Furnace. So let's have a look at how I was able to win this one 3-0. So as you can see, again, we do not have that Elixir Collector. So as always though guys, wish your opponent good luck. I'm going to start our push from the back here. I'm going to get that Sparky on the field quite quickly here. There we go. Wasted a little bit of elixir, but not too much. And as you can see, our opponent drops down that tombstone on the opposite side of the field, which was quite beneficial to us. So I am going to drop my giant in front here, and then I'm going to drop down my witch or ice wizard just behind here as well. So unfortunately our opponent does use that zap spell, and then a very well placed freeze spell, near enough taking out our giant very quickly. Now, because of obviously how the opponent played those troops, then we are able to get one shot off on that tower, taking it down to 1200. So at this point, guys, combining our witch there, we are able to slow down our opponent's attack just so we don't take any damage on this tower here. And at this point, we are still in a very strong position. We've got our opponents down to 1281, and we're still yet to take any damage ourselves. So we are able to take that down, and we're going to try a little trick here. We're going Prince and Mega Minion down at the opposite side of the field. So that Prince does get to that tower, and that Mega Minion is going to take out those minions. And we're going to do some serious damage to that second tower now, get it down to just under 1,000 hit points. Now, unfortunately, we are going to start to take some damage on these towers, which is inevitable, but at this point we are in a very strong position, doing serious damage to 2 towers here. So our giant is going to go in, accompanied by the ice wizard on this first tower. Unfortunately, that is a well-placed Mega Minion, which is going to pay to our ice wizard. That giant, though, is going to go to work on that tower, getting it down to just over 100 HP. Now, we are going to use the witch here to counter that Hard Rider and that Mega Minion, also utilising the zap. But our opponent does use a very well-placed freeze spell there. So we get down our own Mega Minion there, and we manage to limit the amount of damage that's actually coming in on us. So at this point, we're still in a strong position. We have had some serious damage on one tower, but altogether, we are still looking very, very strong here. So the giant witch ice wizard are going to continue to come down this left side. Now our opponent does drop down that Mega Minion, so we do drop our witch to try and counter that. So that giant is going to take that down, and then going to push on to take down this first tower. At the same time, we're going to counter down the opposite side with our Prince and have that zap spell ready like that to take out those 5 spirits that we knew was coming. So we drop down the ice wizard here to try and help that Prince, but unfortunately it didn't quite work. So we're going to drop down the giant in the middle to take the heat here from that Mega Minion. And we're all going to take down our opponent's Mega Minion and that Inferno. Completely wrong card there. So we take down that there. We've got the giant, the Mega Minion and the Prince going in to take down that tower for a very solid 3-0 victory. So as you can see, guys, this deck is very, very competent, playing against a multitude of different types of cards. So we're going to have a look at one more here. It's a 3-1 victory against an opponent who had the giant with the princess and the lumberjack, as well obviously using the skeleton army with its recent buff, and he does have his level 11 minion horde in there. Oopsie daisy, I came off it by mistake. Shall we go back to that? I think we shall. So let's watch this last battle. So as you can see, at this point I was back down in the ice arena. I was trying out a few other decks as well. Unfortunately, ones that had been suggested to me by a couple of my clanmates, which I just couldn't seem to get the hang of or really enjoy playing. Because of that, I did lose a few troops. So my opponent does drop down that Mega Minion, that Horde, plus that Giant. So the Ice Wizard and that Witch is going to make short work of those, and that Giant combining with the Zap. So at this point, I'm now going to drop down my Prince as well to try and do a bit of damage to this tower. Our opponent does drop down those Goblins, and he does have the support of that Princess. But we are going to get a few hits off on that tower. So now we obviously have the Witch. Unfortunately, we do have the Lumberjack now taking those out. So I'm going to drop down the Mega Minion to take out that Lumberjack, which does a fantastic job. And then we have the Ice Wizard in support of that Mega Minion. So we're going to take out that Princess very quickly. Unfortunately, that tower is going to make short work of our Mega Minion, but the Ice Wizard is going to get a few shots off, just lowering those ever so slightly. Now, unfortunately, our opponent does then decide to drop down his Giant. Very well placed there, and he's going to have some support here, so I utilise that Zap to try and minimise it. from that skeleton army. So I'm going to drop down my own giant here just to push back that princess here. And also we're going to have our witch take out that princess very quickly. There we go. And we're continuing our push down this side. Now our opponent does have that ready, but our giant and that witch are able to take out that tower very, very quickly. So as you can see, the giant is doing some damage to that tower as well. Unfortunately, he is about to go down to those last 2 minions from that minion horde. And in comes a big massive push from our opponent when we are slightly low on elixir as well. So we get the ice wizard down, and we also get the witch down, limiting the damage there from that lumberjack goblins as well. So we're going to continue to push down this left hand side, dropping the prince in front to soak up some of that damage and hopefully get through to that tower. Unfortunately, our opponent does place down that spawn very, very well there, but the prince is able to get a few shots off on that tower before he goes down to that minion horde. Our opponent drops his giant down as well, so we drop ours, and then we drop the ice wizard. Unfortunately, our opponent then comes in with a goblin barrel. So down goes our witch to try and counter that. As you can see, very well worked. Now our giant, their giant is obviously going to do some serious damage to our tower, just about taking it down. So our giant and prince are going to take out that princess. Those arrows do take out that tower, but at this point it's looking like a solid win. Our opponent's deciding to push down the opposite side, but as he does that, we're going to continue our push down this left side. So we have our giant, our mega minion, our prince, witch, and ice wizard going in that tower. There we go, taking it all out for a very solid and competent 3-1 victory. And that, gentlemen and ladies, is how good this deck can actually be. Very, very solid indeed. Brick wall is getting closer. Let's have a look. Okay, let's get that giant done. So, guys, that's the deck that we are currently using. It is the giant, the prince, the witch, the elixir collector, the Sparky, the mega minion, the zap spell, and the ice wizard. So, guys, that's it from me. If you like what you see, comment below, let me know. If you've not subscribed, do me a big favour, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you gamers next time. Take care.